Hi guys, welcome back. Welcome to Robbo's Corner on a Sunday morning. Shall we say, yeah, Sunday morning, no riding this weekend. Just a bit of time out from riding because we had a busy week last week in the Lake District, and we've got a busy period approaching. So it was just nice to get a few jobs done at home, get the garden tidied, things like that, before we're now into this next busy period of a trip to Scotland with the missus, a trip to Turkey for Sea to Sky with Eurotech, a trip to Germany for the Enduro GP, and then finally at the beginning of November we've got Madron in Portugal, which is a 12-day trip in itself in the camper van. So we've got a busy time approaching us really, and it's nice to have a little bit of time out just to prioritise things what really need doing. So a little bit of service work has got to be done for this bike for next Friday because I'm going to the Lake District again. I'm going to do Gatesgarth Pass. I've got a permit to do that, so there'll be a video in relation to that. But I just thought I'd take 10 minutes before my tea goes cold to sort of reflect on some of the questions that I sometimes get asked by the people that follow me. And it's nice that people do contact me and ask these sort of questions. I don't want to get bombarded, but you know, I try and respond timely and I try and give the best advice I can. So it leads me on to this message that I got this week, and it's just a bit of a general message really. And it's about somebody who's thinking about changing his bike. And I'll just read it out to you first. Let's get my spectacles on. I won't say who it's from, but it was a message on Instagram. And it goes, "Hi mate, I watch all your videos. I'm after your thoughts. I've got a KTM 350 EXCF 6 days, a 21 model with KTEC ORVS kit on. Is the new KTM 350 EXCF any better? Question. Or should I stick with what I've got? There's nothing wrong with it. I've changed the plastic oil pump gears for metal ones. That's it pretty much." So there's a lot of unknowns there, isn't there? But first of all, is the new 350 a better bike? Well, yes, it is a better bike. There's all sorts of been improved in it. I think the suspension's going to be one of the better things that's been changed. People do complain about the frames being a bit stiff on the newer bikes, but I think that's probably the more experienced riders. So my response to him was, the biggest complaint I hear on the new KTMs is the frames feeling stiff. I've not ridden one personally, only the TBI gas bikes, which have linkage and feel different, being two strokes as well. I've seen bikes like yours at 700 hours without problem. Just do the oil regularly and it will keep going. My friend has a 2018 EXCF 350 and asked me the same question. He decided to stick with what he's got. The bike's good and well maintained. Current value approximately £3,500 to £4,000. He rides maybe twice a month at trail riding, so why invest another £6,000 in a new bike to be sat doing nothing? There's a lot of unknowns, which there is. So a lot of the unknowns are, I don't really know much about the person who contacted me, his bike in particular, how many hours it's got, how well he maintains it, all that sort of thing, what its condition is. But reading between the lines, I think it's fairly well maintained and it's in good condition. He's got a good bike, I think, there. Now, a 2021 EXCF 350 6 days, I would think value-wise is going to be £5,000-ish, thereabouts, I would say. I'm just looking out the air, looking at things what I've seen on eBay this morning. I would say it's the £5,000 sort of ballpark. Second-hand market at the moment is an absolute minefield. I'll just put this down. It's an absolute... I'll take a drink of my tea as well. It's still quite warm. But yeah, the second-hand market is a bit of a minefield at the moment, and prices are all over the place, and condition of bikes are all over the place as well. If you follow me on Instagram, you will see some of the things that I work on and the wrecks that I work on. And that's no disrespect to the people that own them. Just they are totally used and abused. Dirt bikes are there to do a job, but it does help if you look after them and if you maintain them and keep them clean and all the rest of it, which I keep banging on about. They'll do you a lot of service and they will go a long way. So when it comes to changing bikes, there's a lot of questions you've got to ask yourself. Have you got the funds to do it, for one? But my sort of thoughts is why do I need to change it? Is the bike getting tired? Does it need a complete engine rebuild, things like that? Have I outgrown the bike? Do I need something a bit more powerful now? Am I going in a slightly different direction in terms of my riding style? So am I going from trail riding to hard enduro? Or am I going from hard enduro and scaling down to trail riding because I'm getting a bit older? As I am, I'm 60 now, so I am swaying more to the sort of adventure style trail riding type of riding. I still like the technical stuff, but for a racing point of view, I'm not really that fussed at the moment. I'm not saying I'm never going back to racing, because I probably will do at some point. I probably will do the odd race. I might go back to Dawn to Dusk next year. I'll give it a total miss this year, but I do like that event, so I might go back and do the 24-hour again. But don't hold me on it. But something will crop up, like Madron's cropped up, and I'm going there to do the adventure class, a different style to what I've normally done in terms of an event point of view. So yeah, going back to my why change, ask yourself, is the bike doing what it's doing? Is it well maintained? How often do I use it? Am I getting the value for money out of what I've got, which is most important? And how do you put a value on that? So my, again, thoughts would be, let's say, for example, if you needed to hire a bike for a day from somewhere, let's say you went to Spain and you went to hire a bike for a day, that would cost you somewhere in the 200 to 250 euros ballpark figure. If you were to hire a bike in the UK, again, at one of these tryout days or whatever it is, you could be looking, or a guided trail tour day, you could be looking at around £250 to hire the bike, and with kit provided for you to wear. So, and generally those days will be maybe 5, maybe 6 hours at the very most in length. So basing that on a £250, 5 to 6 hours, you can put a value on your experience of using your own bike. If you go out trail riding for the day, you could say to yourself, I had £250 worth of value out of that bike today, because that's how much it would have cost me to hire a bike for the day. So looking at this bike now, it's got 65 hours on. If I split that down into hours in terms of value, so 65, let's get the old calculator out. 65 hours divided by 5 equals 13, times 250 equals £3,250. You could say that I've had £3,250 worth of value out of this bike already. Now the retail price for this bike is £4,950. So I've had over half of its value in riding experience, shall we say, in a year that I've had it, which is really good. If I were to sell this bike now, I would say it is probably worth, on the second-hand market, £3,000, I would say. Realistically, £3,000. So in current terms, it's been good value for money. Definitely been good value for money, because I've been able to use it as and when I want to. So if you look at a KTM 356 Daisy XCF, which is in good condition, which is going to be in the ballpark figure of around £5,000, to change that to a new model, which, looking on eBay this morning, about £11,000 for a new 2026 6 days. You've got a £6,000 difference there. What you've got to be asking yourself is, have I had £6,000 of value out of the current bike I've got to justify that next jump? It's one of those, isn't it? How can you put a value on the places where your bike has taken you? My bikes have taken me to various places around the world, Romania, Turkey, Bulgaria, places like that, Portugal, you know, and many places in the UK. And I've had fantastic experiences on them. Been to places that you could not put a value on getting there. Because I've been to places where nobody else has ever been, and you can't put a value on that, on the experience of owning it. And that's the other thing as well, the experience of owning it. All the bikes that I've got, I've really enjoyed owning them so far. The owner experience has been very good because I've had very little problems with them. So that you know, that stands out for itself. So it's a big what if. But that's my take on it. Can you put a value on the experience of owning it and the value of being able to ride it on every occasion and what it would have cost you to hire one in the same set of circumstances? So this particular bike, in rider experience and value, has paid for itself more than half of its retail value so far. The two bikes I've got in there, the GPX TSE 300, that's got 160 hours on. So let's just try and work that one out. So 160 divided by, say, 5. So 5-hour increments equals 32. Okay, times that by 250, that's £8,000. Retail value for the TSE 300 was 59.50. Yeah, 5,950. So I'm £2,000 in credit there. If you look at it that way, you know, it's paid for itself more than it cost in terms of value of ownership, value of experience riding it, and the places it has taken me. Yeah, with all the bikes, you've got the maintenance and running costs and things, but again, they are minimal running costs on these bikes. All the bikes that I've had, whether it be KTM or GPX, whatever, generally the running costs have been minimal. It's been the consumables, chain sprockets, brake pads, tyres generally, and oil. So there you go. Do you keep your bike, what you've already got, or do you upgrade to a new one and be prepared to fill in the gap in terms of what the price difference is from selling your second-hand bike to the new bike? If it's £6,000, then that's a lot of riding time, to my mind, to make up, to make the upgrade worth it. So you need to be riding once or twice a week, I think, you know, at least, to be getting the value for money out of your new purchase. And yeah, it is what it is. That's me, Sunday morning, having a bit of a waffle, having my tea and scones, which I'm going to have now. If you like the content, please let me know. And yeah, if you want to see more, I'll do some more. But I'm back out riding next Friday, with my good friend Eddie Meek, Gatesgarth Pass in the Lake District, and a few others as well. So back soon. Take care.